Hey, what's up? Happy Monday. Hope you guys have all had a great day so far. My voice is coming back. I'm happy. Still got a little redness under my nose. I swear it may never go away. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. What's up, Ronnie? I am glad to see that you made it back in 35 minutes and 17 seconds. How are you? What's up, Bri? And Haley, how are you? Yes, I love the specificity of Ronnie's time. Hello, Gabby. I don't, you didn't give me a hi. I don't know. Uh-oh. Oh, AJ, I was like, why will Tara be upset? Why is he going to be mad at me now? I know, because my voice is coming back. Don't worry. Don't worry. I've not figured out what's bothering me, so it may be gone again. Who knows? What's up, Flash fan? What is that you spy through your little eye? Not a boomer, because that's not me. I'm good. Hello, JB. How are you? Like your little bumblebee. Ah, Carmen. Hello again, Carmen. Long time no talk. Thanks, Ronnie. I still have the annoying cough that some days is better than others. I don't know if, I don't know. I've just given up. I know the bet is over. Don't worry. I'll do my best to give you all the ammunition you need, Flash fan. Let you just have fun. All right, so we are going to my shirt. It's my it's my uh it's my St. Patty's Day shirt. But thanks. It's like super comfortable. And it's the only green shirt I have. I literally the only green shirt I own for some reason. Um but anyway, we are almost done. Tomorrow, unless something weird happens, we will finish this trial up tomorrow. Um, we are going to hear, we are doing the Marshella Chidester, whatever, trial out of Michigan. This trial happened about a month ago. The accident happened a year ago on April 20th. Marshella drove her vehicle into a boat club that was hosting a child birthday party and injured several people, including children, and unalived a brother and a sister who were very young. And she is on trial for causing their deaths. Her attorney started out by saying that she had had a seizure and that she had had seizures and had recently she even told the police that she had been hospitalized for a few days because of a seizure. I don't believe they would still be letting her drive if her seizures weren't under control and they didn't know what was causing them. Carmen, I knew you would chime in right away. But unless her seizures were able to give her a blood alcohol content of a 0.18 3.5 hours later after the accident, that's when the blood draw happened in the hospital, I'm going to say it wasn't a seizure. So now I think the defense is going to go that the blood was not stored correctly when it was drawn. So yes, JB, I don't know if you have any experience with seizures. Carmen does. That's my daughter. So I've been with her and her struggles. She did not start having seizures until she was an adult, and she couldn't drive for almost a year because they had to get everything under control. So I don't buy that. Again, unless they give you a BAC of 0.18. Hey, Kelly, good to see you. So I think we might hear, so the defense is going to start their case today. I think he's going to go, he kind of was going down the path. He quit asking about seizures. He started asking about fermentation of the blood and something happening with that. So that's where I think we're going to go. I have a feeling everything's going to be kind of technical. So it may be kind of just not exciting testimony. We'll watch. I'm going to split this video into two because it's long. So we're going to do up to, I think we'll watch all of his and then watch the rebuttal tomorrow, closings, and verdict is my plan. I think that's how that's going to go. And we'll finally wrap this up. I know it's taken us a long time because we jumped onto the Lori Vallow trial, which was super exciting. Audio on this is awful. It's better if you have headphones on. You can hear it better. Sometimes I take one of mine out because the sound is actually better generally in the left one than the right one for whatever reason. Flashman, we will not finish before 7. We got a couple hours to do tonight, and then tomorrow it may be another 2 hours, but it might be a little bit less than that. So I think there's a little bit of argument here. I don't know. I've not watched all this because I like to watch it with you guys. I just try to kind of go and get some timestamps and kind of see where everybody is starting and stopping. Oh, sorry, Flashby. But I've got it boosted all the way. We'll see what happens. And I can't turn closed captions on because they're the wrong captions for this stream. They're a news stream that happened around Fat Tuesday. And while they're funny because you're not watching it, it doesn't have anything to do with this trial. So there's that.
Michigan is now in session. Judge Daniel White now presiding.
People of the state of Michigan versus Marshella Chidester.
We ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, bring the jury.
Judge, hang on. Sorry. Well, we talked about this chambers already. We got to put this on the record, Judge. People object to defendant's expert witness being called. We were not providing proper notice under the court's orders, nor does it comply with the court rule. We're providing no notice, no written summary, which is required under 6.201. 6.201J allows the court to prohibit the testimony in the court, and People v. Butler upheld that as an appropriate remedy. We have no idea what this gentleman is going to testify to. He may tell us the earth is flat, and therefore our machines are calibrated improperly.
Judge, if I may reply, is we were informed that we needed one until we found out very late that our expert that we had retained, Dr. Rose, MD, would not be able to testify because the court's regular procedure is that it can't be by videotape, live by videotape, by Zoom or otherwise from where he's at. And as you're well aware, I filed a motion, and as you're well aware, in the motion, it sets forth that he suffers from a very serious
argument to the court.
Very serious issue. And the court's well aware of it. I'm not going to duplicate everything on the record or be repetitious. And that he can't fly. He was not able to drive. He's in his mid to late 70s. And you could have blood clot in his brain.
Okay, we know all that.
Okay, all right, Judge. So knowing that, and then plus, I did not receive any records concerning the toxicology until February 10th. Okay, so they didn't timely under Brady give me records. So then I received, so then we had that scatter, we had to run and get another expert to review everything, tell me over the phone what he thought of it and anything that's beneficial.
Let me ask you, is there a report?
There is no report. He did not do a report.
All right.
And experts do not have to do reports. And he's not going to be relying on a report, or else, as I informed the court last Friday, I believe, that as soon as we get a report, we would immediately email.
Okay. Here's the thing. The notice was given. It was late. Lots of things have been late in this case. But I do think it was an unusual circumstances. The original expert witness was not available or couldn't appear for whatever reason. Notice was given. There's no report. You wouldn't necessarily know what he's going to say anyway unless there was a report. And of course, I would order that. If there was a report, I would adjourn the matter so that you could review it, kind of review with your witnesses, but there's no report. So I'm going to overrule your objection, and we'll bring in the jury.
Last thing, Judge, just for the record, our expert is in the courtroom for this testimony.
I have no objection to that, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
I think we have one matter put on the record, just to make it part of the record and take a minute.
Quick.
Thank you, Judge. We're talking chambers about this, and that is Dr. Gar, MD, is the treating physician. Ram Gar, it's G-A-R-G. He's out of Bloomfield, treating physician out of Taylor, Michigan. He currently, as the court's aware by motion, has 35 counts against him for holding a criminal enterprise and prescriptions unlawfully given. That's out of Wayne County Circuit Court, Judge McCarthy. That's a trial date of June 2nd of this year. I had asked for an adjournment. Court tonight at Michigan Court of Appeals supported this court and said that there was no need because there's no emergency, which I don't get. But so then anyway, we tried to serve him as her treating physician. And we've tried to serve him with the West Bloomfield Police Department where he resides. Last note, all the furniture is pretty much missing out of the house. They tried several times the police department and a process server. Then I did as an officer of the court, represent that I did a mail trace. There is no change of address, so somebody's picking up his mail. So we attempted all of that. Lastly, Judge, as a desperate means, is I had served professionally attorney Prasad, P-R-A-S-A-D, who's listed in Wayne County as his attorney at 4190 Telegraph Suite 3000 Bloomfield Hills yesterday at 10:09.
Brian, I think that her attorney he's allergic to microphones. He's basically talking about her treating physician is going on trial in June, on June 2nd, for basically running a pill mill, I think. And they can't find him. They had served him, that he had tried to get the trial delayed. Judge denied it. He appealed it. The Michigan. I always want to say Wisconsin. I don't know why. They upheld this judge's ruling, and then he started talking because they can't find this doctor. And I don't know where the doctor is. Sounds like he might have skipped. I mean, he's clearly left his home and maybe has skipped town. That'll be interesting to see if that happens on June 2nd. I may have to rewind that back later and catch this guy's name. But crazy. Gabby, Fat Tuesday takes place with Mardi Gras. I don't remember exactly the order of things. I don't know if that's the end or the beginning. I have no idea. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of crazy. Can't find her doctor. So her treating physician doesn't sound like he'll be testifying because it sounds like he's running. He's packed his bags. He caught a plane. I don't know. Yes, Fat Tuesday is a real thing, Flash fan. It happens down in New Orleans, where you're from. Lots of beads and lots of boobs, Gabby. you're in the ballpark there. But yeah, isn't that is crazy. This woman has some issues. Oh my. I'm not blaming her for having a bad doctor. It can happen if you're not paying attention. But he was probably giving her what she needed, so she didn't care. And she wasn't on a ton of stuff. She was on gabapentin. But I don't know if like I know it a long time ago, and I don't know if they ever did. My state was going to make gabapentin a controlled substance because we had so many people abusing it. I don't know if that ever happened in any other states. I don't know if it ever happened here. I don't work in the pharmacy anymore. But interesting. Me too, Bri. Me too. I shall have that tomorrow. I am not the only Southern person here. Kelly is further south than I am, and you have a Louisiana accent, and you live in D.C. We haven't figured it out yet. All right, let's hear this guy keep arguing.
AM in person.
Or not hear him.
Say, in company of, and to get Dr. Ramgard here at 9 a.m. this morning. I don't see Dr. Ramgard. I called his name. I looked for him. There's a picture I have of him, and he's not here. I've not heard from the attorney.
Okay.
So
You
I
made a record.
I wanted to make a record, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Very quickly, Judge, I know this is driving you nuts.
Yes.
Mr. Clovis accused us 5 minutes ago of a Brady violation. I want to make a record that there is no Brady violation here. The documents he received from the lab were received by him on February 10th. His demand for discovery was filed February 3rd, received by us February 4th, well in compliance with the court rules. I just want to make a record.
All right. The record is clear.
Just very quickly, is Brady says you don't have to make a demand. If you got any evidence at all, you got to turn that.
All right. We've made a record. Let's bring him.
I wonder why all the attorneys stood up. Like they were all mad. I mean, getting accused of a Brady violation is a pretty big deal.
May I force the podium, Your Honor?
Which is your witness in the
He's in the back. Yes, he'll be here on that.
Good morning. You may be seated. I know that you guys were all on time. We have not been on time. I apologize for that. Sometimes things are outside our control, but we're ready to go now. Your next witness, Mr. Clovis.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I go get my witness, please? Thank you very much.
I couldn't tell if his witness was there or not there. I thought he said he wasn't there. I'm not sure. I don't know if he knows. And I'm wondering his I'm so dumb act that we saw with all the prosecution witnesses. I'm wondering if that's going to stop now. I'm wondering if his memory is going to be great.
You stand right here while you're sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Sir.
Remember, this is the courtroom with the usher sounding guy. Watch your step.
Would you state your name and spell your last name for us, please?
First name Okori, Okorie. Last name Okorocha, Okorocha.
Thank you.
This is sir, how are you currently employed?
I'm a forensic toxicologist.
Okay. Can you give, by way of background to the jury, your education, formal education?
I have a bachelor's degree in biology. I have a law degree. I have a master's of science in pharmaceutical sciences with a specialization in forensic science. And I have a second master's degree in forensic toxicology.
And you currently, what is your job encompass currently? What do you do?
The forensic toxicologist reviews the data produced by analytical instruments. In my case, it revolves around blood, breath, hair, saliva, urine testing.
And how long have you been doing that?
18 years.
And did you ever give expert testimony in a courtroom?
Yes.
Approximately how many times have you provided expert testimony?
Over 700 times in 55 of the 58 California counties, 25 times in 25 different US states, and in Germany and Japan.
And were you qualified as an expert in those locations?
Yes.
And did you ever?
What's up, Baker? This is a good Christian channel. I've been watching you and learning how to be a good Christian channel. One of us is failing. I'm not sure which one. Yes, the defendant's doctor, as we just found out about, is going on trial next in June. I've almost said next month. April stars a couple more days, because it sounded like he was running a pill mill. So, and they can't find him to testify. He's gone in the wind. See you later. Thanks, Flashby. He's blaming both of us. Well, Gabby does like that word, but as her and I have discussed, it's kind of an East Coast Boston thing. Boston. When she says her, she's not talking me. Let's just be fair there. Let's just get that out. That is not me. Good heavens. Hey, Haley, how you doing? Good to see you. All right, let's get back to the smarty pants. He's like, I've testified everywhere and all around the world. Thank you very much. Look, can we clarify the her, please? It's not me. It's not me. I am I am also not on Only Corn. Baker, after 5, Gabby is the best. Flashman? No. I do not. That was didn't that come out in Lori Vallow's trial? Isn't that where Only Lollies came up at? Flash fan. Hate when you sound disappointed in me for something I didn't even do.
Give testimony and qualified as an expert concerning any U.S. military service personnel?
Yes, in Germany and Japan.
And in what setting would have that been?
Court martials.
And what were the allegations?
One of them was that the soldier was impaired while off duty, and his foot was taken off by a train. So in order to get his benefits, we needed to establish that he wasn't in fact impaired. The second one was the Navy one in Japan. That was a breath alcohol test.
And were you qualified as an expert in those cases?
Yes.
Um, Have you been qualified in blood testing in labs and hospitals to give testimony?
Ma-
Okay, first of all, he said the guy got his foot run over by a train. Holy crap. Also, I missed the very end of the day today. I paused it. Was able to pause it long enough that I was able to fast forward through Brennan's argument because he was such a jerk to that guy on the stand in the voir dire hearing, whatever. And I paused it so I can listen to Alessi's argument, although I could probably hear it from here, from Massachusetts, because that guy yells in a nice way. But oh my gosh, he is the worst. I just I can't stand it. He's got a very punchable face, figuratively speaking. Of course, I would never do that. Voir dire. I don't know why I just suddenly can't say that word. I can say it in my mind. You didn't think, oh no, he was horrible to that guy, to that witness. Like, horrible. Like, you don't have to be a jerk, you jerk. Don't worry, you got Auntie Bev on your side. You'll be okay. I mean, if she throws this out, if she throws Arca out, Karen Reed's screwed. That's just the end of it. And I hope that she does not. I have that much faith in Auntie Bev. Yes, all the bad words. Flashing. I know you just saved up all last week because you couldn't say anything, and it's hilarious. I deserve it. It's okay. I was. Dear Lord, I was a child. I was a teenager. Oh my gosh. Wow. Haha, Gabby gotcha. She won't throw Arca out, and I think after his crap, she will let the rebuke. She will rebuke the CW witness too. Well, he should not have been allowed to treat a witness like that. I get it; it was outside the presence of the jury, so he was feeling a little frisky. But it was not. That guy handled it like a pro. Absolutely great. Nobody trusts Bev except the state. Gabby, I knew you would like the 8-ball, magic 8-ball, not talking pharmaceutical 8-balls. And I knew that, but I had to put Nibby on there. He did what I saw. He did great. I missed just the very end of Brennan. And I haven't watched Alessi. He was just starting and I had to turn it off. Shaking his head and yelling. He didn't answer questions. I know. And he did just answer them. And then he acted like he answered him about deleting text messages. And then he acted like he got him. Oh, so you did delete text messages. I just said that. It's like, he just said that, you idiot. Sorry, Gabby's stuck on Nibby the Diva Beaver. Because I put a new little Nibby thing up in there. I'm not putting that one up there bigger. I had to explain Karen Reed to my daughter-in-law today. And I said, it was just a very quick explanation. And she was like, holy crap. And I said, the funny thing is, the people that are not on the side of Karen Reed don't understand how we are on the side of Karen Reed. And those of us that are on the side of Karen Reed don't understand how people are not on the side of Karen Reed. It's very crazy and very divisive, and just everybody's so dug in. It's crazy. Like, it is crazy. And I feel sorry for Gabby that lives out by that mess. You know how I explained it? I won't go into it because I'll get way off track here. It really is, JB. Like, it's super wild. It just, because it wouldn't matter to people on one side or the other. Like, if Karen Reed walked out and said, I did it, I did it, I did it, we would all be going, no, you didn't. Like, you didn't do it. Who's paying you to say that? What deal are you taking? And if the other side, if an Albert or whoever, if Jim McCabe walked out and said, I did it, that side wouldn't believe her either. We would. We would all be all about it. Wolf got the harassment in to show Bev and Tyre at it. I didn't see that part. And that's why Gabby likes the 8-ball. It is hard to explain, Flash Van. It is. I don't know how I came up with my quick explanation that I did, because I know I can't even remember off the top of my head, but it made sense when I said it, and she was like, wow, interesting. I said, it is interesting, and it's crazy, and it just takes you places that you don't want to go, and some people don't think people can ever get there. But at the end of the day, law enforcement is human, and I'm not saying anything anti-law enforcement. I respect them very much, but they're human, and the blue wall is real, and they rally around their friends just as we would rally around our friends. It's just human nature. It just is. It's not that far-fetched to say they would do. Just because they're police doesn't mean they don't do anything wrong. In fact, sometimes that means they do a lot of things wrong. It just is. I mean, cops get arrested for doing the wrong thing all the time. I don't like it. I wish they didn't. I wish they were the people we think they should be behind the badge. And a lot of them are, but some of them aren't. And that's the end of my rant, I promise. I did not give anybody my Colombian hookup. Oh my goodness. All right.
Many, many times.
In breath testing,
Yes,
in the breath testing involving alcohol,
correct.
in chemical analysis of blood, have you been declared an expert in that area?
Yes, correct.
Approximately how many times as a chemical analysis of blood have you been qualified in a court as an expert?
I would say over 400.
When it concerns the issue of driving impairment, have you been qualified in courts on that issue?
Yes, I have.
And approximately how many times?
Several hundred.
Have you been qualified in federal court ever?
Oh, yes.
And drug use and effects, have you been qualified in that area in courts?
Yes, prescription drugs, drugs of abuse, over-the-counter drugs, drug interactions.
With regard to field sobriety tests and chemicals that may affect sobriety tests or dexterity tests, have you been qualified in that area that you've given testimony?
Yes, and I have formal education in field sobriety tests.
You're always welcome, Baker. And sleep deprived Baker and After 5 Gabby is fun. So it's a good time. And it's only going to get better. So yeah, you're always welcome. I ain't scared. I don't have any secrets. At least none that I've told.
How long ago would have that been?
2014 or so.
And do you do updates on that?
Yes, I teach the
You
course.
teach it?
Yes.
So you teach courses in forensic and related areas?
Yes, and in field sobriety tests, blood testing, breath testing.
In what setting do you teach?
For the State Bar of California, I also teach for various criminal defense organizations.
When you say the State Bar of California, would that be that people attend that are defense attorneys and prosecutors
And judges,
and judges?
yes.
And have you been declared an expert in forensic toxicology?
Yes,
And that's in different courts in the United States
correct,
and in Germany and Japan, correct?
correct.
And general technology, toxicology, you've been declared an expert, found to be an expert by a U.S. court?
Yes, general toxicology is usually it's 50 or so times. That's things that are contaminating the water or poisons and such.
Here,
What's up, Wow? Are you sure Baker can read that? Because he's not American. English is not his first language. It's like his fifth, sixth, seventh. Who knows at this point?
hair testing.
I swear we'll get through this.
Correct.
Pharmacology, you've been declared an expert in those fields in U.S. courts.
Correct.
And the issue of impairment by drugs or alcohol, have you been declared a expert regarding toxicology of that?
Correct. Drugs, alcohol, or alcohol and drug interactions.
And you've given expert testimony in the case of Derek Rose.
Yes, MBA.
Who's that? Derek? I'm not a sports person. Who's Derek Rose?
He was the former NBA MVP.
And did you give ever any testimony as an expert in the George Floyd case?
Oh,
No,
dear
I was a consultant on the case, the civil case.
Lord, sir. What's up, Zach? Baker's always welcome here. Oh my gosh, you are not the first person to like the court reporter. Daddy Short Nuts likes the court reporter too. I don't know where he's at because she's looking pretty today. Happy Monday, Zach. Hope you're doing well. I just want this guy to get through all this stuff. Every other person, they've kind of just like stipulated to it all and didn't stick around on this stuff. Of course, he would get through it a lot faster if I would stop pausing. I'm aware.
Case,
Which I was working on settled prior to the trial or testimony.
and as a consultant, were you asked for your expert testimony or expert advice?
Yes, and I relayed to the attorney what the attorney needed to know.
And then the last case is it deals, it's captioned Hawaii versus Denise Dixie Villa, V-I-L-L-A. What was that case?
That was a baby manslaughter case involving Benadryl.
And were you qualified as an expert for the court there?
Yes,
I'm looking at your curriculum vitae, fancy word for resume, and it says you're testified in over 850 jury trials. Is that correct?
correct.
In 55 different California counties,
Yes,
24 United States federal courts.
I think he said all that.
Okay. Did you say 24 U.S.
I
courts?
think he said 25. 25 other states.
Thank you, Judge. And you received a Master of Science in Pharmaceutical Science, specializing in forensic science from the University of Florida in 2012.
correct.
I would like to have my witness.
We'll give them to you.
Judge Cleveland.
Yes, Zach, that's her
Thank you.
with the blonde around her bangs. Oh, there's some questions.
Mr. Okorocha?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sorry if I get that wrong. You said you have a bachelor's in biology.
Correct.
Where did you obtain that degree?
California State, Northridge,
When would that have been?
99.
And so after you graduated in 1999, did you go right to graduate school
I went to law school, if that.
immediately? When did you start law school?
Yes, it was the fall following graduation.
So that would have been 1999.
Yes,
And when did you graduate law school?
2002.
When did you go to get your master's?
2010.
What did you do from 2002 to 2010?
I worked for the federal government, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services as a civil rights investigator, and then I worked as an attorney.
You worked as an attorney. You worked as a defense attorney,
Yes, for 3 of the 22 years I've been licensed.
specializing in drunk driving cases, I assume.
For the 3 of the 22 years, I focused on that.
Where was that law school located?
It was in Costa Mesa, California, Orange County.
And where did you go to get your master's?
University of Florida.
So undergrad and law school in California, master's is in Florida.
Yes.
How long did you live in Florida?
I didn't live in Florida. You can do a lot of the work remotely. You take the exams and certain classes in person.
So you got your degree from an online university?
I wouldn't call it online because you're mostly doing research, but yes, it's remote.
Were you in class in person
Yes, for some of the classes.
for all of the classes?
No.
Okay. How did you do labs from California to Florida?
I'll slow it
Sorry?
down
How
on
did
this
you do your lab
over.
requirements? How did you meet lab requirements? You were living in California and your classes were in Florida.
The forensic toxicological analysis is not lab technician work. It's the analysis of the data. The laboratory technician work is simply filling up vials, putting them in a carousel and pressing a button.
Something tells me most chemists would object to that assessment, but I'll move on. The undergrad, how much lab work did you get?
General chemistry, organic chemistry, physics, microbiology, plant biology. There's
Sorry, Zach. Can't see your limbs. We can only see your pillows.
more. I'm just not.
Do you work in a lab now?
I work for a lab. I'm not a technician, so I don't fill up the files, but I analyze the data for laboratory.
What lab do you work for?
AK&A Labs.
Is that, does that lab comply with the International Organization of Standards regulations?
I'm not in charge of compliance. A lot of what I do is also reviewing things from other labs for our lab, but I don't know.
Have you ever tested blood on a gas chromatograph?
I've tested over 10,000 samples.
When did you do this?
I've worked for various labs since 2000, from 2011 up until COVID.
Do you conduct
Get some rest, Baker. I will see you in the morning, and I know I will come into your chat at the strangest time, and you'll be saying the strangest thing, and I won't even comment on it. But I might tomorrow. Yes. Go to sleep. By orders of the Zach. Yes, Gabby, she dyed her hair that way. She bleached that part. That's not natural, Gabby. That's the after 5 talking. It'll be okay. I will slow this down as soon as all this part gets over.
testing still?
Only if I'm covering for somebody. I'm not a technician.
Are you a certified forensic alcohol analyst?
I'm not sure what that is.
Take that as a no.
Oh, sorry, Gabby.
Your most recent professional experience then would be from prior to COVID?
Well, my lab technician work would be prior to COVID. My most recent professional experience would be this week.
Are you a licensed toxicologist?
There are no licenses for toxicologists, at least that I'm aware of.
Is your lab that you work with accredited by anyone?
I don't know the accreditation process. We have labs we send things out to that are accredited for other things.
I don't know what's going on with my numbers. Last week it said no one was watching. Then it said one person was watching. Brandon comes in and it's like, what are you two watching? It was just me and Gabby. But I'm like, it is not just me and Gabby here. But it does this to me all the time. I don't understand it. Mine says 3. It did. Went up. I don't know. Yeah, now 3. I don't know. YouTube's just messing with me. I don't get it. I know. You guys will be chatting and they'll say no one's here. I'm like, they're typing it in my freaking chat right now. YouTube.
I'm not sure what the labs are accredited for.
What did you review in preparation for today?
It's really more cross than it is right here. Hang on a second.
Have you ever testified in the state of Michigan before?
No,
What protocols govern blood collection and testing in Michigan?
I did not review the blood protocols. I reviewed the analytical chemistry data.
So you don't know what rules or policies are used and implemented in this state. Do you know who implements these policies?
No, the policies aren't relevant to what I'm analyzing.
All right. And Judge, the people object. I don't think he's qualified to testify in the state of Michigan. He doesn't even know what governs collection or testing.
All right, well, the court does determine that this witness has been qualified as an expert witness over 700 times in 25 different states, in Japan and in Germany. Has a significant education, also has a significant practical experience. Accordingly, the court does qualify this witness as an expert in forensic toxicology.
There he is.
May I proceed?
Yes.
That's short nuts.
Your sir, could you, again, just say your name?
Okori Okorocha.
Okay, all right. And you reside where?
El Segundo, California. It's by Torrance, south of LA.
And you received certain records that were sent to you, is that correct, concerning this case?
Correct.
And they were more of toxicology type records and things like that, right?
Correct. Laboratory records.
All right. And you're not, a lab tech is somebody that stores, let's say, blood or accepts blood from the police department and then stores it. Is that correct?
Correct. Stores it and then tests it. No.
Okay, all right, that's a lab tech. All right. It's sort of a simple procedure. It's more simple, correct?
Yes, we have lab techs that don't have any college education, for example.
All right. And you had opportunity, your job or being an expert when you testified is to interpret the results after they've been obtained through testing devices. Would that be a fair statement?
Correct.
And that's where all of your expertise surrounds, not drawing blood or storing it, but analytical.
Correct. I am familiar with the procedures for mixing the blood once it's collected and what you're supposed to do with it once it's collected.
Okay. Well, whether there's a blood draw and placed in a vial in California or in Michigan, does it change fermentation or anything? Or it's the same blood?
Objection, Your Honor, this is a leading question.
Well, I got to ask the question.
Well, the question is whether it's a leading question. Why don't you just try it with it?
Okay, all right. When you give testimony, prior to giving testimony, do you look at the toxicology reports?
Yes, and the laboratory data supporting whatever reports were generated.
Do you just look at the one page that says this is the result and that's it?
No, anyone with Microsoft Word could generate that. It's the data that supports it.
And can you inform the jury what data you looked at prior to coming to a conclusion concerning this case and this blood type?
There are various lab worksheets and then various graphs. The actual blood sample is depicted on what's called a chromatogram, which is a visual depiction of what was found in the blood.
And we did go through this with state of Michigan people that testified yesterday. But I want to ask you, just to see if we're sort of on the same page of what they said. And that is, normally when blood is extracted from an individual and it's put in a tube, let's say state police or government, or you want to preserve it or save it for testing in the future, is there a preservative that's usually mixed with it?
Yes, and nationwide, everybody uses the same tubes, the BD or Becton Dickinson, and they are supposed to be gray top tubes with preservative and anticoagulant.
Okay, and that's a private company that does that, correct?
Correct.
And it's all the same? I mean, in other words, throughout the states?
Yes.
So they have a contract with all the states as far as you know?
Apparently so, or they're the only ones that make that kind of tube.
Okay, and that would be Michigan and California both?
Yes, or any other state.
Okay, and I don't know toxicology inside out. I didn't study it. And the jury and the judge, can you please explain what would be in this tube and what purpose does it serve?
So the potassium oxalate would act as an
So he's going to try to say her blood fermented. Is he going to try to also say that it wasn't 0.18, 3.5 hours after the crash? And you guys are making me like cringe with your hair prices over there. I do. Well, I've also, my hairdresser kids and my kids grew up together, but yeah, I don't pay near that much. I pay not that every 6 weeks. But if I went downtown on campus area with all the little college girls, I would pay $250 to $300, especially with the length of my hair. So no way. No. No. Daddy Short Nuts, I have no desire to do that. Also, your court reporter is looking quite fine today. She's a solid 7 from Zach, which makes her cute, apparently. Baker thought she was pretty as well. And Gabby thought she looked like she was being held hostage earlier. Thanks, Zach. It's a little windblown today, but thank you. No. I would be very crimpy. Oh, today is Monday the 28th. Is that what you're asking, Flash Fan? Thanks. Are you talking about me or the court reporter? Holy crap, wow, no way. I pay $75 for a cut and color every 6 to 8 weeks, depending on how long I can make it last, which is not very long when I get darker color put on. But yeah, I think the most expensive person at the salon I go to only charges $85. But that's just the perks of living in a small town, I think. We're just not big city pricing. All right. Gabby, I'm not turning this up to make it sound like chipmunks. It might send you over the edge because you might be thinking of Nibby.
Anticoagulant, because when the blood, if it clots, the alcohol follows the water portion of the blood and not the red blood cells. So if it clots, you get a higher concentration. So you want to fend that off. Secondly, it would have sodium fluoride, which is intended to inhibit microbes such as bacteria or fungi from converting blood sugars and other substrates into alcohol. But it's an imperfect process.
Okay. And when the tube is opened prior to putting the blood in,
Oh, it isn't opened, the needles.
if the needle goes in, the needle is in the air, then the tube, then the needle goes into this tube with a protection on it, and then blood is put in the vial, correct?
Correct. And typically for forensic purposes, you would want to wipe the top of the blood tube you're putting it in.
So you're not putting something that may contaminate it right into the blood. What would be the reason why I was wrong? What would be the reason why you wipe it?
Because it's easy to insert microbes such as bacteria and fungi into the sample, and it doesn't take a lot of bacteria or fungi to be able to alter the sample.
I presume from what you're describing, it's very, very sensitive. You have to be very careful.
Yes, all biological samples change immediately coming out of the body. So it's just like when you buy milk at the store, you get the one with the furthest expiration date. It's stored properly, but you know it changes.
And how should, if the blood is put in like you described into this, is it 2 vials or 1?
Most jurisdictions collect 2 vials just in case there's a problem with one because it's an imperfect process.
Okay. And once that happens, the person that draws the blood, what is supposed to be done with the tube? Just put right in the box or what?
No, the tube is supposed to be inverted approximately 8 to 11 times. So if this pen
Excuse
is
me
the
while I
tube,
whip out my tube.
you're going to turn it.
Record reflect that the witness is holding on to a pen that's about 8 inches long.
Oh, sorry. Just a pin. No tube.
So you would take the tube, you would turn it completely upside down and then bring it back. And you're going to repeat that process 8 to 11 times.
Okay. I'm going to show you a pen, record reflect that I'm holding a pen maybe 8 inches long between my 2 fingers. And I'm going to just wiggle it back and forth and not actually turn it upside down 8 to 11 times. If I wiggled it once or twice, would that be enough to do a proper mixture of this chemical balance at the bottom of the tube?
No, not per the manufacturer guidelines. And the manufacturers have an interest in having the most robust tubes they can have. And even they say you need to go through that procedure.
And if a person does not mix it, for lack of a better word, mix it properly, is 10 or 11 or 8 or 10 times, what could happen?
The anticoagulant could not properly mix in the blood sample. And so you can have coagulation or the red blood cells clumping together. Or if the preservative is not mixed all the way through, you can have fermentation, microbes converting sugar, blood glucose and other substrates into alcohol.
And what happens when fermentation? Do you want fermentation to happen in a sample?
No, you usually do everything to prevent it.
And what's the reason why?
Well, the fermentation, you're converting blood contents that are not alcohol, such as glucose, and you're converting them into alcohol. So not only are you losing blood volume, you're increasing alcohol, which can make the blood alcohol level go up significantly.
And if it's tested after that, would the test be reliable?
No.
Measurement of alcohol in blood.
No, fermented blood would not be reliable for blood alcohol concentration.
Is there an analogy with regard to preservative or milk or anything like that? We talked for a minute today.
The preservative is imperfect, and depending on what microbes are present, there can be significant changes, but there are always going to be changes. That's why you draw it, you put it in a refrigerator freezer, because that slows down whatever biological processes are going on, and you mix it to try to control it, and then you want to test it as soon as possible.
And what does the state testified that at times there's a walk-in refrigerator that samples are put in. Why is there a refrigerator? Why is there refrigeration?
Because biological processes happen a lot slower when you're in a refrigerator freezer, as opposed to heat. Heat speeds up the chemical reactions.
Would that cause a fermentation at all to speed up?
Yes, it would cause any
And,
biological process to speed up.
and fermentation, what would that do to a sample, the accuracy of the blood alcohol level?
It would make it, it could make it go up significantly. In one study, they found that it would go up to a 0.10 in 1 day or 24 hours.
And if the fermentation is not shaken or inverted several times, would that also affect and cause to go up much higher?
It makes it far more likely.
So if the preservative, let's just say it's not mixed properly and it's not refrigerated or kept cold, you're really going to have an inaccurate result. Would you agree?
That potential is a lot higher.
And you don't want that normally, right?
Correct.
You want people to follow the test so you have an accurate result, correct?
Correct. Proper procedures.
And these procedures are not only for California or Michigan, am I correct?
Correct. There's nationwide standards, national standards from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Society of Forensic Toxicologists, and the American Academy of Forensic Sciences.
And are you aware of all of that? Are you aware of all that standards?
I know them pretty well. They're a couple over probably 200 pages. So I don't know every single detail, and they go into very specific areas that I don't necessarily deal with.
There'll be no test today on that. Okay. Do you use that in your practice of analyzing data?
Yes.
And after having an opportunity to review the data that was applied to you, supplied from the prosecutor, how many pages was it?
Over 300 pages total.
Okay. And did you, was there anything unusual when you looked at the data and you were analyzing these pages of results or raw data?
Yes.
What are you looking for to see? What would you look for in the data to make sure that proper testing was done, or maybe it wasn't done?
Various things. In this particular case, I noted that there were other compounds in the blood sample that would not be there without fermentation.
And what would be the name of those compounds?
I'd have to look. The most significant one was acetone, which would be nail polish remover.
I know, not that nail polish remover was put in there, but is that something that's put in nail polish remover?
Yes, that's what nail polish remover is. The blood sample would have tiny amounts of these volatile organic compounds, such as acetone, and the amount of alcohol produced when even you have a tiny amount of acetone can be 10,000 times as much.
And does somebody that wants an accurate result from blood testing toxicology wants an accurate result, would they want acetone being found in their sample?
No, you would want to throw out the testing because acetone is not found in human blood.
Well, there was some testimony yesterday that you can have a little bit of acetone in the sample and it's okay.
I would strongly disagree.
Have you ever been told that it's okay to have some acetone in a blood sample and it's accurate 100%?
No, and there were other volatile organic compounds in there as well.
Where would those compounds originate that you saw? How would they originate? From what?
In a blood sample, the only way you would find them is fermentation, unless somebody put those, ran all those things in the instrument and there was a lot of contamination or something.
Unless somebody intentionally put them in, it happens through fermentation. Is that what I understand?
Yes.
Okay. And fermentation could occur non-refrigerating the sample prior to testing and or the chemical compound inside the test tube is not shaken properly.
Or it can happen even with refrigeration.
Okay. And if it's not refrigerated, would that be like an expiration date on milk, but you leave it outside and it tastes sour prior to?
Yes, correct. It would speed up the expiration of the milk.
So even though the expiration says,
I'm listening to what this guy says. I understand it. I don't have any proof of it yet that they didn't handle everything correctly, except for the fact that the lady that we all enjoyed so much last week, the one that everybody was, I think Gabby called her hero. She kind of got snappy with the defense attorney there. She said she inverted it once or twice, but who knows if that's what she really did or she really did do the 11 times or whatever she's supposed to do it. I can tell you, I get blood drawn all the time because I have to, not because of that reason, but every time I go get an infusion every 8 weeks, they draw blood. They draw the blood and they take it. They don't ever sit there and do anything with it. They just take it and run it to the lab. I have my results very shortly. However, if this guy is right, that would mean there's probably millions of people whose BAC levels are wrong. And if that's true, that's scary. But where are they? Where's all the people? Where's he saying this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong? Because he's not anywhere except here saying that. I'm just not buying what he's trying to sell me. But maybe I just haven't seen enough yet. But I doubt it. Maybe. We'll see.
April 1st, if you left it outside of the sun prior to, expiration doesn't matter what it says, right?
Correct. All those biological processes happen a lot faster.
After analyzing the data that was supplied to you from the state toxicology department, do you think that the result that is allegedly obtained as 0.18 of that blood level, that's truly accurate?
No, because there were several volatile organic compounds present in the sample.
And all of that combines to not giving you an honest and accurate sample.
It gives you a result that is not the same as it was when the blood was drawn.
Do you know if the second sample of the vial of blood, there were two?
Yes.
Two, right? And that's what was testified to yesterday. There's two.
It was run twice. I don't know which vial it came from, but it was run on two different, what are called columns.
Do you know if the second vial, if it was ran on that, does it show any testing on that in the records you've looked at, the second vial?
I don't know about the vials.
Okay.
I just remember the columns, and it was
Okay.
run on both columns.
That's what I was gearing the question to, that if there's two, which there was testimony of, and tests are done on one, do you know if the second test tube was tested at all from looking at the reports?
Yes, there were two tests.
So each one was tested,
Correct.
or at least it looks like that?
Correct.
Okay.
Or at least two columns.
Okay. And there could be two columns in one test, correct?
There usually is two at a minimum.
And then it was described to us yesterday by a toxicologist from the state that the process is, as you said earlier, you push a button, you put the blood sample in, you push a button, and then it just operates on its own, correct?
Correct. It's completely automated. So most people would usually run it overnight so that you don't have lab personnel checking Facebook or sitting around.
And that's exactly the testimony was, that it's ran overnight and it's approximately 7 hours. Does that sound right?
Yes.
And the toxicologists, when they're running this test, they don't have any personal involvement, or they're not touching the blood or the sample or anything. It goes into a machine to keep it as clean and impartial as possible, right?
Yes, and it's all automated.
And if somebody's at a hospital, in your opinion, professional opinion, if somebody's at a hospital, would it be more accurate testing to take their blood there and have the hospital test it than to get it, shake it? It might ferment, refrigerate, not refrigerate, wait 2-3 days, and then have it tested. Would it be better just to have the hospital more accuracy, take a blood sample right then and there?
Objection, Judge, this is a leading question.
No, it's leading, Your Honor, but I'm asking him his opinion.
I'll allow the question.
Thank you.
The hospitals have their own inaccuracies just because it's done very quickly. They can't wait 7 hours necessarily for, get test results back, because the person could be.
So, but you wouldn't have the fermentation taking place. Is that correct?
Correct. And you always want to test it as soon as possible, regardless of where you get it from.
So would it be more accurate to not have the hospital do it than let something ferment?
All things being equal, yes.
Your resume, I've had marked as Exhibit 1, and I believe I'm going to move for it to be admitted, but I believe it's stipulated to already.
Defendant 1 is admitted.
The CV. Thank you. Is that true and accurate as to your?
It's admitted.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Did you get it, my clerk, please?
I was just like, move it along. We got it. Should have did that already.
And after reviewing all, after,
Yeah, I'm gonna, for the record, any defense exhibits should be letters. This is defendants A, isn't it?
are you marking that, Judge? Or would you like?
I'm changing.
All right, thank you, Judge. And in your professional opinion of all your years, of all your testing that you've done, of all the cases of, I don't know, 1,000 cases altogether, and all the forensics you've done, in your opinion, toxicology-wise, your professional opinion, are these with the acetone that developed a true and accurate result of the blood test?
No, and there were also other volatile organic compounds. And
Right.
if we put the chromatograms up, I can point out the issue.
Okay, do you have that at all in your laptop or anything like that?
I have them electronically in my iPad.
Your Honor, may he look at his records, please, to refresh his memory?
If that'll refresh your memory, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge. Please, sir, let me know when you're done.
Okay.
Please take your time to refresh your memory fully.
Okay.
Thank you. Are you prepared now to go forward, sir?
Yes,
Okay, what are other different compounds that shows in their testing?
there is acetone and isopropanol.
Okay, that's the one I had problems pronouncing yesterday, the second one. Not that it's relevant, but tell the jury about those compounds. Are those normally in your blood?
No, you wouldn't have volatile organic compounds in human blood. Alcohol is a volatile organic compound, but the only reason you have it is if somebody consumes alcohol. But normal human blood wouldn't have acetone and isopropanol.
And if normally you would have, because somebody consumed alcohol, how does the fermentation affect that, or other compounds, or acetone?
Well, the fermentation greatly increases the alcohol level that you have present. It can make it drastically higher, or it can make alcohol where there's no alcohol. So they take blood samples and they see if they ferment, and the blood alcohol levels can go from 0 to a 0.10 in one day.
And if there's all these other chemicals, could it go up higher?
Well, the other chemicals are just telltale signs that fermentation occurred, because fermentation is involves the byproducts of fermentation. So you'll see those sort of things.
But you're absolutely positive before this jury that those results are not accurate according to your opinion, professional opinion, and according to the records you viewed from the state. The 0.18 would not be accurate.
Correct. It would not be accurate for the time of the time the blood was taken.
Okay. And there's no way of knowing what would be an accurate amount if these samples were polluted or fermented.
There's no way to determine how much fermentation occurred. If you have some volatile organic compounds, it was far greater than the amount of volatile organic compounds, but you can't place a number on the increase, or if it went from 0 to whatever number you have, or it went from a lower number to a higher number.
And if somebody had a regular, I don't know, 6 ounce or whatever it is, glass of wine between 11 and 12, or 11 and 12:15, and a blood sample was taken, let's say 3 hours later, or 6 hours later, would it be accurate as what's being tested, because acetone is in there, or fermentation may or may not be occurring?
If there's acetone present in other volatile organic compounds, that's evidence that fermentation occurred.
And it's just not good. You said, like, I don't know, drinking nail polish or heavy nail polish.
Nobody's going to drink nail polish remover. If you do, you're an idiot. Don't do that. It's not going to do anything for you. It's going to taste disgusting. And this is stupid. I don't know where he's getting 6 hours. Her blood draw, the accident was at 3, the blood draw was at 6:30. Ugh, don't know. I think this guy's really smart. But I'm with you, Bri. And I don't like that. Because, like I said, if he's right, then that means there's a lot of people that have been convicted wrongly convicted. But, and that's scary. I just don't know that I think he's right. Well, we didn't. That was your generation of weirdos, Carmen. Who toasted his lip. I mean, I believe it. I mean, I knew people in high school that would go around drinking Robitussin all day. I'm like, ew. But I don't have a cold. I just have a high, I guess. I was not one of them. But yeah. That's true. That's true, Bri. Dang it. We could have. No, but didn't we had little green stickers that said yuck, and they had like a I don't know how to like a bad face on them. So you knew it was yuck. Yeah, that's just desperation right there. Ew. Can't take NyQuil, so I don't know. I'm just weird. NyQuil and Benadryl don't knock me out. They make me stay up. So unless you give me Benadryl through an IV, then it will. Like, then I go night-night. But I don't know what it is. But I'm kind of looking forward to the state here questioning this guy. And I will slow it down when the prosecutor comes up because he does speak fast. And this guy, you guys didn't even notice that I didn't slow it down. My goodness, sorry, I've got a rogue hair that keeps getting in my face. You have to have your Purell on the rocks. Well, I don't have anything. That's where you get it from, I guess. Sorry. I will not. There will be no anal injections of whiskey or Benadryl. Nope. Thanks anyway, though.
Correct. Nail polish remover.
Nail polish remover. And it's very, very strong. Am I correct? Alcohol base.
Sorry, what is?
It shows an alcohol base when you're testing, when you have this acetone.
Correct. There's a significant amount of 10,000 times as much alcohol created as the acetone.
Now, can you go back and prior to testing, take acetone out of the sample?
No.
Once it's in there, it's in there?
Correct. Taking it out wouldn't do anything to the alcohol produced.
Okay, so once the alcohol's there, it's there. Even if you could extract the acetone, its damage is done, so to speak.
Correct, because the acetone is part of the process in fermentation.
And, I looked at your resume, or when I was speaking of it in front of the jury, qualifying you, is you've also been involved in breathalyzers or, formerly data masters and things like that at the station, somebody blows into a tube and then it registers one or two amounts that may be of alcohol level. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. There was, that wasn't done in this case. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. Would it have been a good idea to have done that?
The more data points you have, the better understanding you have of your test results.
And if there was fermentation or any pollution of these samples, sounds like common sense that you have the breathalyzer at the station, those results, right? If everything was working good.
Right. Those would not be prone to the fermentation errors.
Not at all, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I don't have any other questions, John.
Cross. Thank you.
No, Carmen, I don't. Sorry, I don't think he's saying that she had nail polish. She had acid. He's saying she had acetone in her blood from when they didn't store it right or whatever, it fermented. But no, he's not saying that she drank nail polish remover. But yes, Gabby is right. She's desperate. Very desperate. Let me put this back down to normal because I think this prosecutor will speak too fast to keep it up there. That's true, Bri.
Mr. Okarocha, does acetone ever occur naturally in the human body?
If it does, I'm unaware of it, and the body has to get rid of it very quickly because it's toxic.
At what level is it toxic?
I don't know offhand. It would vary for each person.
You said you reviewed the lab reports and the data points from the GC.
Yes.
What else did you review in preparation for today?
There were various laboratory documents such as worksheets and chromatograms indicating the acetone. There were controls, calibrators, calibration curves, reference samples.
Did you review the police reports?
I received them, I think. I don't think I reviewed them. I was only working on the toxicology part.
Did you?
What's up, Foul Town? I was hoping you were going to make it. First you get drunk, then you puke up a shoe. It's very specific. Oh my goodness. Carmen, waiting for your rating of the court reporter. She's back there with red hair, blonde stripe around the edge, and burgundy shirt with the pillow showing out the top.
Review the body camera footage of the blood draw?
No.
You cited a study where the blood alcohol level went up 0.10 in 24 hours. What study is that?
It was by Bloom, BLUME, and Lakatua, LAKATUA.
Did you bring that with you today?
I have it electronically.
You have it electronically. Can you provide a copy to us?
Electronically.
Okay. What other publications have you relied on in preparing for your testimony today?
I guess the Becton Dickinson manufacturer guidelines. But the things I'm talking about are they're sort of common knowledge. There wouldn't be an authority on them.
This practice is accepted not only in the state of Michigan, the way the blood is drawn, the way it is transported, but throughout the country. You testified, correct?
There are national standards.
So, but the gray tops are standard throughout the country. Everybody uses them.
Correct.
Okay. And the testing is standardized throughout the country. It's done the same way here as it is in California.
No, not always. Here we are using a dual column instrument. The modern, more reliable instrument would be a GCMS, as in mass spectrometry.
What states employ GCMS?
Several counties in California. GCMS for alcohol is not as common as it is for drugs. I'm not sure offhand.
Are you familiar with the Michigan police guidelines for how many times the blood is supposed to be inverted in the tubes?
No.
What is, you stated that acetone does not occur naturally in the blood. What do you base that opinion on?
Well, the laboratory runs known samples of various compounds, including acetone, because they're running known byproducts of fermentation, because you need to run them to see if they're present. So if you're running them to see if they're present, you're doing that so that you can figure out if there's fermentation or not.
How often does fermentation occur?
It would depend drastically on conditions and, the temperature, the delay between between the draw and testing.
When does fermentation stop?
Usually when the microbes run out of substrates that they can convert to alcohol.
So you tested the blood here to confirm that it was higher than 0.18 that it kept fermented, correct?
No.
You stated that you don't believe at the time of the draw her blood alcohol was 0.18. What do you believe it was?
We can't determine the amount of error associated with fermentation based on the byproducts.
Was her blood alcohol higher than 0.18?
Bri, are you a paid expert? Did they pay you to say that? I believe you, by the way. And good one, Daddy Shorten. We always test for acetone just because of this defense attorney who's a real pain in the acetone. Also, as Zach said earlier, acetone, a workout routine. And I'm just letting the rest of you chat over there. Pedaltown, I do hope you feel better soon, though. And get out of the hospital and stay out of that place. I mean, unless you like it. What you guys are chatting about over there.
Not with fermentation, no. It would have to be lower at the time of the draw.
Do you want me to take a break, Judge?
No,
Okay. Is it, so it's your opinion that her blood alcohol level was lower at the time of the draw?
I'm going to object. He said he doesn't know if this fermentation takes place. It's speculative. What was her blood alcohol level? First of all, it's presumed something that it makes no sense. You can't speculate if there's fermentation. He said it can occur with no alcohol in your system. It's heartbreak.
Judge, he's testified that he believes fermentation occurred. I'm trying to establish whether or not he believes the result is accurate. Was it 0.18 at the time of the draw, or was it lower at the point of the draw?
I think it's a fair question. I'll allow the question. Objection.
It would be significantly higher at the time the blood was collected. I'm sorry, at the time of the testing than when the blood was collected.
So her blood alcohol increased from the time of the draw to the time of the testing.
That's what fermentation does.
And what causes this rising alcohol to occur again?
The microbes, bacteria, and fungi. Often it is a microbe called Candida albicans, which the preservative does not slow down. And the thing that's called a preservative can actually speed up fermentation with Candida albicans.
Does the Michigan State Police procedure require refrigeration of collected samples?
I saw something about refrigeration. I don't recall it well enough to give an answer.
Do you know how much defendant had to drink on that day?
I read something.
Your Honor, I didn't hear the question.
Repeat the question.
Do you know how much the defendant had to drink on the day in question?
No, I wasn't there. I read something in the report. It might have been 1 or 2 glasses of wine.
But you weren't present?
No.
No. So you don't have any idea if she had 1 glass of wine or 40 glasses of wine, correct?
Well, with the testing, I wouldn't say 40, but I don't know how much.
So with the testing, how much do you think she had then?
Objection, Your Honor. He said the testing fermentation took place. You can't guess and be speculative. What do you think she had? What do you think I had?
Judge, he said with the testing, I wouldn't assume 40, so maybe he's got an answer to this.
He's also an expert witness who can give his opinion. If he can't base his opinion on what's been presented, then he'll say something.
Okay. 40 drinks would be, even with hard alcohol, I doubt somebody's belly could hold that much.
I understand. How much do you believe she had to drink based on the testing results that you've looked at?
I cannot tell because of the unreliability of the testing.
The state of Michigan test blood like this every day, multiple samples a day. It's your opinion that some percentage of those ferment every day.
I don't know what percentage. I can say in this case it fermented.
And that's because acetone doesn't occur naturally in the human body.
Neither does isopropanol.
1 second, please. We have no further questions.
Thank you, Judge. The whole purpose of the testing and toxicology in the blood testing is for accuracy, correct?
Correct. Forensic testing, you want to get it as accurate as possible.
And from all your studies and all the cases you've worked on and all the cases you've testified in, are samples of blood supposed to be refrigerated?
They're supposed to immediately be put in a refrigerator freezer per the national standards and tested as soon as possible.
And the national standards go with the uniform testing kit, right? That applies. The uniform testing kit that that company has a monopoly on.
Yes, the tubes.
And because somebody violates that or a county violates that, that doesn't make it right. Is that correct? There's national standards.
Correct.
And how many times, and does that also then apply to how many times a tube should be inverted? You had said how many times?
8 to 11.
And that's to make sure that all that powder that's stuck on the bottom is dissolved.
Is mixed in with the sample.
And is it the national standards to do it this 8 or more times?
I don't know if the national standard states the amount of times or to follow the manufacturer guidelines. I don't remember that specifically.
And what's the manufacturer guidelines?
The 8 to 11 times.
And do it less than that, you may not have accurate results.
Yes, per the manufacturer.
And that's because fermentation could take place.
Yes, and it can take place without, without the preservative, with the preservative.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions. Cross.
It says manufacturer. Ugh.
I'm going to show you what is the FSD 093. This is the Michigan State Police instruction form for drawing blood.
Your Honor, may I take a look at what you're showing on this? Sure. Thank you. Excuse me.
State's like, you should have already did this one, sir.
Your Honor, I'll object because this has never been, I've never even seen something like this where I found it, and nobody's testified to it. I don't know if it's old, new, what this piece of paper is. So,
Judge, we've used it in the trial already.
Yes, and there's been testimony regarding it already. I was going to ask you if it's an exhibit because.
We have not admitted it as exhibit, but perhaps we will.
Yeah, all right. The objection's overruled. It's clearly been testified.
Excuse me.
Oh no, he's got my, holy crap.
Can you take a look
Owie.
at it, please? Tell me if you recognize that document.
You want me to read the back of it?
I just want you to take a look at it and tell me if you recognize it. Have you seen it before?
No.
and Your Honor, also objection.
Ah, Gabby, I slowed it down. So he's not talking that fast right now. He's talking normal. But I slowed it down. And yes, the lab tech blew an 07, 0.07 on secondhand alcohol. And it's a manufacturer, like vehicle. I got nothing. all I can say is Nibby is the best ever.
Because he's already had his opportunity to ask him questions in cross. Now he's going into another tangent.
You were asking about the standards. I think it's a legitimate question. The objection's overruled.
Oh, I wish the Magic 8 Ball actually came up in StreamYard and not just Magic 8 Ball, Magic 8 Ball. Also, I have to remember that when I name these dumb things so I don't put something stupid. Thinking nobody will ever see it.
Okay,
You have not seen that document before, correct?
correct.
Okay. In the state of Michigan, we talked about actually, hold on to that for 1 second.
Okay.
if you would. The Michigan State Police has policies and procedures associated with blood draws in the state of Michigan, but you're not familiar with those policies and procedures, correct?
This is the Michigan State
That is
Police.
not it. This is a question aside from that document.
Oh, okay.
Are you familiar with the Michigan State policies and procedures that govern drawing and testing of blood?
Not in particular, but they're pretty standardized.
Okay. The state of Michigan, through the Michigan State Police, creates blood draw kits. We've used it in court already. This is the kit. And every kit is that form. Can you tell me what number 3 on the back of that form says, please?
Slowly invert blood collection tubes enough times to distribute the sodium fluoride, potassium oxalate preservative.
Enough times? Is that what it says, or does it say 8 to 11 times?
Says enough times.
Okay. It's your opinion that the Michigan State Police policy and procedure is wrong.
No, I'm saying the manufacturer tells you what enough times is.
Judge, the people are going to move for admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 39. That is the FSD 093 form that has been referenced a number of times throughout the case.
Response.
Sure, I'll stipulate to that. I don't agree that that's proper, but I'll stipulate to that exhibit, but it doesn't meet the national standards, according to my.
People's 39 is admitted.
And how much were you paid to testify today?
I was paid a retainer of $5,000 and then I had expenses.
And what were those?
Travel.
Approximately $1,200 total.
So all told, about $6,200?
No, I didn't get anything other than the $5,000 retainer.
No further questions.
I normally don't like that.
Redirect.
Redirect. I normally don't like that question because the state gets all their experts provided for them, and the defense has to pay for experts. So that's the only way they can get them. Not every expert just comes in and says what they're paid to say. So there are good experts out there. I always hate that question. I was actually going to give the state credit for not asking it this time, but then he was like, no, I'm not finished. Here it is. I will not yell at you. I do not yell. Very rarely. Sometimes, but not at you guys. Yes, Gabby is our new expert. $5,000. He also sells lab grade acetone on the side above the $5,000 he got for testimony. Me too, Puddletown. I am also an expert on a lot of stuff that is useless and no one really cares about except me and my dogs. Only because they have to listen to me because I'm the one that feeds them.
That piece of paper that shows you, is that from the national, or excuse me, is that from the manufacturer of, is that from the manufacturer of the
biological arrowhead forensics kit?
You know, those kits are made using the Becton Dickinson vial. And the Becton Dickinson vial manufacturer guidelines tell you how much is enough to mix it.
Okay, do they just say, mix it enough, and use your own, judgment, or do they say 8 to 11?
The manufacturer says 8 to 11 is required to be enough.
Of inverting each test tube?
Correct.
Okay, and you're sworn to tell testimony today, you're sworn to tell the truth. Is that the absolute truth?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't have any other questions.
Any follow-up on this?
No, Your Honor.
May this witness be excused.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge.
All right, thank you. You may step down.
Okay, thank you.
Next witness, Mr. Clovis.
Your Honor, may we approach this for a moment? Appreciate it. Thank you. Well, Your Honor, if I may, it's the exhibit that we stipulated to, that I would ask exhibit B, the defense, and that's the receipt.
All right, if you give it to my clerk, please.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Defendants B is admitted.
That's a receipt from Vernon.
Yeah,
Oh, well, the jury. Thank you.
right.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony
I think that
before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do.
I think we saw her Thursday. She was the state's witness. She works at the lab, I believe, and I'm curious to see how he's going to try to attack her because she seemed to know her stuff. That would also be funny. Can you smell what the rock? I can't raise one eyebrow, but if I could, it's cooking. I would be more impressed if Stone Cold Steve Austin came in, smashed his 2 Budweisers together, and flipped off the courtroom. That'd be funny. I don't know why it would be funny, but it would be funny. Not that anybody in there deserves to be flipped off. Maybe the defense attorney.
If you would state your name and spell your last name again, please.
Yes, I am Tabitha Faust, Faust.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Faust, thank you for being here again.
Oh, wait.
You
The
were,
defense?
because of court rules allowing the same.
Does the defense rest? I didn't hear it. Sorry. I guess this is rebuttal. Okie dokie doke. Sorry. He must have rested, and I did not hear that. I was too busy thinking of wrestlers. Never mind.
You were able to be in the courtroom to hear defense's expert testimony. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. When you received the blood sample in this case, Ms. Faust, what was its condition?
The condition I would consider to be normal. As part of our checking process, we look at the samples before we test them to make sure that there isn't a large clotting issue, that everything is mixed in, all the information on it matches our system. It is part of our normal check when we test.
So was there any clotting of the blood in this case?
There was not an excessive amount of clotting that I had noted, or I would have put a note in the case record.
Okay. And what is that indicative of?
So to me, that's indicative that the sample was properly preserved because there is an anticoagulant that is in those tubes. If it had not been mixed properly, then I would have expected the blood to have clotted.
In your role as a forensic toxicologist, do you have any involvement or any opinion regarding inversion of the tubes to distribute the preservative?
I don't know if I have a lot of opinion on it. I know that as part of our practice, we do actually rock the samples before we test them as well to make sure we get a well-mixed sample for testing.
Does the lab have a policy on accepting blood samples that haven't been refrigerated?
Our policy is that we accept any samples that have been delivered to us. Our official ASB standards states that it is acceptable to send samples unrefrigerated as long as they are received within a reasonable amount of time.
And do you have a qualification for what's a reasonable amount of time?
I do not.
Okay. How long between collection and testing was the blood in this case?
In this case, I pipetted this sample less than 48 hours after it was collected.
Okay. In your opinion, would that be a reasonable time?
That is extremely fast for blood alcohol sampling.
Defense's experts spent a good time speaking about acetone and isopropanol.
Yes.
As to did you locate any isopropanol in this sample?
No, I did not. The instrument picked up, there was a peak shape in the window, but it didn't even integrate it because it was so low, it couldn't really differentiate it from background noise.
If you could explain peak shape in the window that the instrument didn't really integrate.
So whenever you run a sample on a GC, there will be it's not a completely flat baseline. There are peaks, so like mountain shaped, and in the isopropanol window, so that time frame, there was a small blip that kind of looked peak shaped, but it was so small that it was considered insignificant by the instrument and myself as the reviewer of the data.
And I think you described the acetone that occurred in the sample as insignificant as well. Is that right?
Yes, it was slightly larger in that the peak.
Hey, Christine, how are you? I hope you are doing okay today. I hope you're having a good Monday, because it's Monday.
Actually met some of the quality criteria for what we call a peak, but it was still extremely small, which is why it was not reportable, and it was only integrated on 3 of the 4 results.
And the isopropanol was even smaller than that.
Yes, it was completely insignificant.
Do you have any knowledge or have you read any literature in regards to acetone naturally occurring in the body?
Yes, I have.
And what is that?
So acetone can naturally occur in the body for many reasons. One, like I mentioned yesterday, is in diabetics. If you, especially uncontrolled diabetes, you will have ketones in your system, which is one of them is acetone, and you can go into diabetic ketoacidosis, which is a high level of acetone. The fad diet, the keto diet, tries to get you into that ketosis state, and that is also will increase the amount of acetone in your system naturally. High levels of stress, pregnancy, and even a binge drinking episode can cause low levels of acetone in your blood naturally.
This level of acetone, would that be in line with the studies you've reviewed?
Yes, it would.
You heard defense's expert testify to a study that he was familiar with where a blood sample that started out with no alcohol was allowed to ferment and reached 0.10 within 24 hours. Did you hear that testimony?
Yes, I did.
Did you hear him cite the name of that study?
It sounded like it was by the author of Bloom, but I'm not familiar with that study.
Okay. You've never heard of that in your trainings or in your profession?
Not that particular study. I have other studies on fermentation I've read, but not that particular one.
How many studies on fermentation have you read?
A great number of them. One in particular that we refer to a lot, they were attempting to create fermentation in a tube, and the highest amount of ethanol they were able to produce was a 0.071, but that was after 5 days of not being refrigerated.
What could cause fermentation in a tube?
So fermentation is caused by different kinds of microbes can cause it. But that is why the manufacturer of our tubes puts in that preservative to destroy any microbes to prevent fermentation.
Okay. If you received a tube that had experienced fermentation, would it be different from a typical tube?
So most fermentation processes produce a gas. And so when I go to open, to pipette the sample, I have to take the stopper off the tube. And that buildup of gases, I would be able to hear it and sometimes even see it, because the blood could, in rare cases, actually shoot out of the tube because it's under pressure from the fermentation process. And none of that occurred in this case.
So in your training and experience, is there anything to suggest that this blood had suffered from the fermentation process?
No.
Is there anything in your training and experience to suggest that this blood was not properly preserved?
No.
Is there anything in your training and experience to suggest that this blood was not properly stored and transported before it arrived at the lab?
No.
Just one second. No further questions. Thank you.
Cross. Showing the prosecutor a perspective of
She does this every day for a living, sir. I don't think you're going to crack her, but you can try.
Ma'am, you said that you did not see any large clotting in the tube or tubes?
Correct. I have seen improperly stored tubes before where the entire sample has congealed, isn't it? It was like a gel-like substance almost, and that was because it was improperly stored.
When you say improperly stored, like how?
I don't remember the particulars of that case, but I believe it was left for a very long period of time in a very hot squad car.
Could that also occur if you don't shake it enough?
I would assume so, because the anticoagulant would not have been distributed within the sample.
And it's very important that the anticoagulant gets distributed very well. Am I correct, to preserve it?
Both that and the preservative, yes.
And you stated earlier, and it sort of stuck out in me, you stated not any excess amount of clotting. So you said I interpret that as there's clotting, but it's not in excess. That's what you said, not any excess amount of clotting. So was there some clotting at all in it?
I didn't know any clotting in this sample.
What did you mean by not any excess amount of clotting?
If the anticoagulant hadn't been mixed in, then I would expect a large amount of clotting in the sample as evidence of that. And I did not see that. I did not know any major clotting or even minimal clotting that I noticed in this sample.
So earlier when you testified with the prosecutor, you didn't say there was no clotting. You said not any excess amount of clotting. So it wasn't any serious clotting in your opinion, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And did you look at it at all under a microscope or any of that type of regarding clotting and things like that?
No.
And you work for the state of Michigan, correct?
Correct.
Okay. in the toxicology department, correct?
The toxicology unit of the Michigan State Police.
And you're supposed to do your job as best as you can, correct?
Correct.
And acetone, you said it's okay if you have some acetone in your blood?
Yes, a small amount of acetone is perfectly acceptable and normal.
So acetone is used as a solvent, correct?
Pure acetone is, yes.
And it's okay to have a little bit of that in your system, you're saying?
Yes,
And you've got studies with you today that says you can have some acetone in your blood.
I have a study with me today that says acetone is naturally occurring in the body, yes.
It naturally occurs. And it says what level that you can just have it and you're healthy.
It does not, I don't believe it quotes a certain level, but the level that I found in this sample was extremely low.
Okay. And that can occur also if somebody's pregnant, right?
As I stated before, pregnant, high levels of stress, diabetic episodes, any of that thing can raise the amount of acetone in your blood.
Did you know my client was not pregnant on April 20th, 24?
I do not know your client.
Would you agree that fermentation is not good in a blood sample, no matter how much, to get a true and accurate reading? Would you agree with that?
Yes,
Would you agree that the blood testing sample, if taken right from somebody in the hospital and tested in the hospital, would be much more accurate than trying to do these shakes and have, several days later be tested?
I can't testify to that because I've never worked at a hospital, so I don't know their testing policies and procedures.
Okay, that's fair. Would you agree that not having any refrigeration whatsoever on a blood testing sample and then giving it to you days later could cause some fermentation?
Fermentation is a complicated process that needs more than just not being refrigerated. You have to have the exact right microbes, you have to have enough glucose in the system, and you have to have a low enough blood alcohol level that the microbes won't be killed off by the ethanol by itself.
Were you able to test for that before you tested to make sure all those things didn't exist?
I don't understand your question.
You said, you just repeated or you just stated all these different things that have to be met regarding fermentation, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Are you able to test for that to see, is this a fermented sample or not before I test it?
No.
Or you just test it and you hope it's not fermented?
As I said before, the tubes have a preservative. There's evidence of fermentation.
I'd like for you to stick.
Hang on a second.
Well, I want her to stick
No,
with the
do
answer.
not interrupt her.
Okay.
Physical evidence of fermentation, like the gas buildup, like I spoke of earlier, would exist. That is something we are trained to look for to prevent fermentation. But did I test for microbes? No, I did not.
Okay. That's what my question was. And I apologize, Judge, that I interrupted. And did you, when you opened the tube, did you have any type of instrument that would measure any gases that are emitted as soon as you open it?
No, I do not.
And let me hand you something. Ma'am, and I just talked to the prosecutor and I believe he doesn't object to this communication log report, which would be Defendant's Exhibit C. And I'm going to show you it and see if you recognize it. I believe it may have been printed from your workings. Please take your time. And I understand it's not the full report of all the testing that was done, but I'd look for you to look at this proposed exhibit or exhibit that shows the different graphs that we talked about or you talked about. Does that look accurate?
Yes, these look like the chromatograms.
Thank you. And ma'am, do you have a copy of that with you? Or is it easier for you to just look at mine?
I think today it would be easier to look at yours.
All right, thank you for
Oh,
being.
no, I found them. Never
All
mind.
right, great, thank you. And do you see, it says upper right-hand corner, GC 19-1. It's really the second page after this page.
Yes.
All right, thank you. And it shows the acetone figure under the FID1. What's FID1 mean?
So that is our flame ion detector number 1.
Okay. And then FID2, I presume, is your second one you have.
Yes, that is the
All
second
right,
one.
I'm learning. All right, thanks. And then you have a graph on the third page, second page, that shows acetone number 2 in the FID2. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. And it shows that peak going up, correct?
Yes, the integrated acetone peak.
Thank you. And then you have GC 19-2, that page. I'm going to ask you to flip over that. And then we have on the upper right-hand corner, it says Elgin Technologies. And it says page 2 of 2 at the bottom. Do you see that one?
Yes.
All right, thank you. And you see
Oh, I meant to click on Bry's comment because that was taken way out of context. I wonder if the expert is still earning his money and is sitting there listening to all the ways that I thought you were just abbreviating all the ways that she said your body produces acetone. And he's like, not produced naturally. Nope, nope. And I would have to get rid of it just because it would. $5,000, please. Thank you. Yep, I agree. That wasn't good. He just waved the white flag, dude. You can't come back from that. She's got you. Look at her. Look at her. She's just staring him down like, ask me another question. I dare you. Acetone, the tone of this attorney. Oh, she's ready.
acetone and a graph going up. Is that correct?
Yes, under FID1.
Okay. And then under number 2, you show a graph going up. Is that correct?
Correct, an integrated peak.
Okay, thank you. And that's all acetone, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then formally, I would ask to admit defendant's Exhibit C.
People don't object as long as we publish to the jury. That's only a partial part of the report.
Defendant C is
what people don't object.
Mark.
It's marked, Your Honor, and I also put that on the record. It just needs a staple.
Judge doesn't hand out staples. He hands out sentences.
I don't have any other questions of this witness. Thank you, ma'am.
Any redirect?
That he is, Puddleton.
Just one last question. This is just a refresher from yesterday. What was the acetone level in this sample again?
So the acetone level in 3 of the 4 detectors was 0.002.
What per?
It'd be grams per deciliter.
Okay. And in your training and experience, is that indicative of anything as it pertains to the alcohol test? The ethanol test, I should say.
No, for us, that is so small that we don't even report it.
Nothing further, Judge.
Your Honor, just one question. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And you decide that it's so small that you don't report it, correct?
So we have a calibration curve, and that is how we accurately.
If I may, it's a yes or no answer.
I don't think it's a yes or no answer, so let her answer the question.
So we have a calibration curve for any compound that we can quantify and report. And our acetone calibration curve starts at a 0.01. So that is the level at which we start reporting it.
And are you aware of hospitals that they start at different levels? Are you aware? Yes or no?
Hospitals test for different reasons, so I assume their levels would be different than forensic testing.
Thank you. No other questions.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
May this witness be excused.
She may.
Thank you very much. Any other rebuttal witnesses?
Yes, Judge.
People call Anthony Kafawa.
I wonder who this is going to be.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Sir.
State your name and spell your last name, please.
My name's Anthony Kathawa, Kathawa.
Thank you, Judge.
Did we see him?
Good morning.
Are you employed?
Yes, I am.
How so?
I work at Fermi 3 Party Store, and we're in Newport, Michigan.
In Newport, Michigan?
Yes, sir.
And you said party store, you sell alcoholic beverages?
Yes, we do.
So, okay. Were you employed in that role on April 20th of 2024?
Yes, I was.
And were you working that day?
Yes, I was.
What time did you go into work?
I'd like to have a sidebar, please. It's very important.
We have not seen him. I guarantee you, sold her alcohol that day. That's what I'm thinking he's going to be his role. Works at the party store. He's got a good head of hair. Looks like he'll keep it well into his upper ages. Who brought Joey bag of donuts to the stand? Well, he's got to take it easy on those hair products, too. Yes, I know hair products is making his hair nicer. Defense attorney at sidebar tells this guy to keep his big nose out of my case, or else. And we're back. I thought that, too. I thought a Jersey Shore, too, pedal town.
May I continue, Judge?
Yes, you may.
All right. I kind of lost my place there, so I'm just going to start over. You work at Fermi 3.
Yes, I do.
You were working there on April 20th.
Yes, I was.
Okay. What time did you get to work on that day?
Just before 9 o'clock, before we open.
What time
open
did
at
you
9.
open?
We open at 9 o'clock.
Okay. And did you make a sale on the day that brings you here today?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember what that was?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember who you sold it to?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And do you keep records of the sales at your store?
We have a POS system. Our receipts are saved in the POS system.
Okay. POS, for those of us that aren't in the industry, is that point of sale?
Yes, it is.
All right. That's your cash register,
It
right?
is our cash register.
Okay. And so are you able to sort of replicate receipts from any transaction?
By replicate, you mean reprint?
Sure.
Yes, we could
Okay.
reprint a receipt that has gone through already.
Do you have access to that system?
We do have access to it, yes.
Okay. And you can go in and find a sale from April 20th of 2024 and reprint the receipt.
We should be able to.
Okay. Do you know if you did that on that with regard to that sale?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I'm going to show you what is marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 36.
I don't object, Your Honor, if he's going to have it.
All right, People's 36 is admitted.
Thank you, Judge. Can you put that on the screen, please? Mr. Cathala, do you recognize that document?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And can you tell me what that is?
It is a receipt of the transaction made that day.
Can you read the date, please?
Yep. Yeah, 04/20/2024, April 4th, 2024.
And what time was this transaction made?
9:01.
So 1 minute after you opened?
Yes, sir.
All right. And what is on that receipt?
It is a 4-pack of Sutter Home Pinot Grigio wine and Silver Rain Cabernet, a bottle of wine.
When you say a 4-pack of Pinot Grigio, just a few questions about that. What is Pinot Grigio? I mean, I know it's a wine. Is it a red wine, a white wine?
It is I would say a white wine. It's clear in color.
Clear in color. Okay.
Yes, sir.
A 4-pack is what size approximately would those bottles be?
Honestly, so it's 187 ml. It's a really small bottle of wine. It's like
Sort of like what you would get on an airplane.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay. It's equivalent to about 1 glass of wine each.
I am actually not sure about that.
That's fair. And then the bottle of Cabernet, that was a more traditional size bottle.
Yes, it was a regular standard bottle. I think it's 750 ml.
And is Cabernet a red wine or a white wine?
It is a red wine.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions for this witness, Judge.
Cross? Yes, Your Honor. Oh, correct. Sir. Right. When you open at 9 o'clock, do you have people every day come in and buy things?
Yes,
It's not unusual.
it's not.
And are you like, I've driven by your place. Is it like a neighborhood type place?
It is.
You get to know everybody?
Depends. Some
Or
people are in and
you
out.
get to know, you get out of town or sometimes.
Yes, we do.
And that's a truthful receipt, right? Because that's
Yes,
what
it
took
is.
place.
It is a truthful
We
receipt.
don't doubt it, okay. And do you know those bottles, are they like little 4-pack with bottles about that big?
Yeah, about that size.
Okay, and they're like around that round?
Yes, they are.
All right. And people buy those sometimes? That's why
Yes.
you carry them?
Of course.
Okay. And do you remember
Hello, Ada. I promise. I can't control the chat. Yes. Who eats chili in a fish sandwich? Gross. Sorry if you eat chili in a fish sandwich. Please do not be offended, but gross. I don't think she needed any insurance for that, Puddletown. Think she was good on that not happening. Oh, I don't know. Ew. Haley. Oh, goodness gracious. Yes, Gabby. I think you meant to add ED on the end. You're not trash, Gabby. You're not ordering chili or fish. You're ordering a burger or pizza and french fries. Exactly. Because who eats chili and fish? You've never been trashed. This is a whole new world. Ew, McDonald's fish sandwich? No, Puddletown. No. 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 Yeah.
my client coming in that day?
Yes, I do.
Okay, did she seem like she was intoxicated at 9 in the morning?
No, she showed no signs of that
Thank
intoxication.
you very much. And if she did, you wouldn't be selling alcohol,
Exactly.
right?
We
Okay.
refuse. We have the right to refuse to sell to anybody that's
And
intoxicated.
you might even call the police too. if
We
they
could
look
call
like
the
they could
police.
Harm themselves, okay. And then there was a bottle of, did you say?
It was a bottle of wine, Silver Rain Cabernet.
Okay. All right. And people bought things from, it was the lawful time to be able to buy anything for your house, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And she didn't sit there and open the bottle and start drinking in your
She
place,
did not.
right?
And we do not condone that, allow that.
Right. I don't blame you. And she didn't sit there and go outside and start drinking a bottle of wine, did she?
I didn't go outside, so
Okay, do you
I
have
can't
video?
tell you.
Do you have video outside?
We don't have we didn't have cameras at the time.
Okay, all right.
And so, do you know where she went from there at all? No?
I don't.
Okay. And
Why would
do
he know that?
whenever in the future that may have been consumed, whether it's that day, the next day,
I was not with
any
her.
day,
Nope. No clue at all.
that would you would be speculating, right? You
Yes.
don't know. Okay.
All I know is that she purchased it for me, and what she did with it, I have.
And
No clue.
she presented herself very presentable and things like that.
She was.
Okay. I don't have any other questions yet.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. May this witness be excused.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, John.
Any other rebuttal witnesses? Yes,
Where's-
Judge.
wait a minute. Just a random Kenneth singing Silver Rain. Lady, you have to know you're not doing well. Like, you have to know it.
Do you
And
solemnly
the
swear or affirm that the
worst is yet to
testimony
come.
you give in this matter before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Deputy, would you state your name and spell your last name for us?
It's Alec Predmore, Preadmore.
Thank you.
Afternoon, Deputy. Morning.
Morning.
It's been a long week. What do you do for a living, Deputy?
I'm a deputy sheriff with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you held that position?
Approximately 8 years on road patrol.
And what's your current assignment?
I'm assigned to traffic services.
And what does traffic services do?
So traffic services is a division within the sheriff's office. I handle crashes on the road, fatals, VIN inspections.
No, Ronnie, she did not know the children's family. She just lived, I think they said about 550 feet from the boat club. She was like what do we see? What do we hear from? The rear commander and the commander. I think she was at one point maybe was the commander of that boat club. I don't know what that means. I don't have a boat and I'm not part of that club, but Haley, yes, you did. You did save Ada from puking and memory loss and feeling horrible the next day, and then swearing you're never going to do it again until next time. Hey, Flashman. Yes, we talked about that too. Well, Puddletown. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Ronnie. Yeah, the details are really rough. Yes. Yes, she does. I think she is. I like to have a bottle of wine with my meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know, she thought they were after her Lucky Charms. Yay, learning, Flashman. Never stop learning.
Just any traffic complaints if somebody were to call in to dispatch and was having a traffic issue.
In your role with traffic services, did you play a role in this investigation?
Yes, I did.
What was your role?
So I responded to the scene the day that it happened on April 20th. From there, my supervisor advised to respond to Verna's and take part of that investigation.
And you did so?
Yes.
Did you do anything in regards to the defendant's 2017 Ford Edge?
Yes, I did.
What did you do in regards to that?
So on April 22nd, around 12:30, Deputy Burkhart and I responded to Jim's Towing to conduct a vehicle inspection of the 2017 Ford Edge. While there, Deputy Burkhart needed the EDR, the black box, out of the vehicle. Jim's towing employee, Forrest Peck, was removing the EDR from the vehicle, and he made a discovery from the inside the vehicle.
And what did he, I'm gonna show you what you brought for us in just a brown paper bag, but there's something in an evidence envelope inside.
Yes. So,
Any of this case in chief should have been brought in case in chief. I have no idea that it would be rebuttal, that all of a sudden it's an afterthought to find something. It should be in case in chief.
Same response to the sidebar, Judge, if you want me to make a record of it. Defense's case is that defendant only had one glass of wine that day, and through some sort of chemical process that turned into a 0.18 alcohol level by the time of the crash or the draw. This is all to specifically rebut that proposition.
All right. Certainly the other testimony was, I don't know what this is yet. So I guess we'll see.
So Deputy, you were present when Forrest Peck, the tow truck driver, was removing the EDR.
yes, while he was doing so, he located a 187 milliliter bottle of Sutter Home Chardonnay, which was turned over to me, photographed, and was placed into evidence here.
And that was located in defendant's vehicle?
Yes, in the center console.
Okay. People would move to admit the bottle is People's Exhibit 40.
Response?
I don't have any objection as to his testimony concerning that.
People's 40 is admitted.
No further questions.
Cross.
Can I take a look at that, please? I'll hand it to,
If you're done.
I'm done with it, thank you.
Sorry, I thought you wanted to inspect.
No, I did want to look at it, thank you. Officer, do you know when that was drank?
I do not.
Okay. Do you know of people that do returnables and they have a bag of returnables and things like that? And returnables, but also recycling too. Do you know, have you ever heard of people doing that?
Yes, of people recycling plastic, yes.
All right. Do you know if my client ever was like always recycling everything?
I do
Sort of
not.
an earth person?
I do not know.
And do you know where that plastic, is it a plastic bottle?
I
Whatever
don't
it
recall.
is,
I
it is.
believe so. Yes,
All
so I know it's a bottle
Do you know where that came from?
from the center console of the vehicle.
Okay. And have you ever seen any videos or photos of my client ever sitting in a car drinking?
I have not. No.
All right. Do you ever take any recycling items to be recycled, such as bottles or cans or plastics?
Me personally, I
That's what the deputy
How is
does.
it relevant?
I'll withdraw, Judge.
All right.
Do you ever take recyclables to the recycling place that you only have a little brown paper bag full of recyclables to take? Can I say recyclables anymore? No, that would be a waste of time. That's just a dumb line of questioning.
Have you ever pulled anybody, have you been a patrol officer?
yes, for 8 years.
Okay. And have you ever pulled anybody over and investigated and see they have returnables inside their vehicle?
I mean, I'm sure.
Objection relevance.
Well, I'm laying foundation if it's an unusual thing to see, returnables.
I'll take the answer.
Thank you.
You're a better person than I am, Middletown.
I mean, yes, I have recyclable. I have bottles in my patrol car right now. Yes.
Okay, all right. And that doesn't mean that they drink that wine right then and there or prior to, correct?
I don't have that answer.
Right, all right, okay. It would be all speculation, right? You'd be guessing.
Yes, I would be. Yes.
All right, thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Redirect.
No, thank you.
May this witness.
Yeah,
excuse.
no point.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Next witness.
Thank you, Judge. This time, people call Detective Kenneth Dodds.
Flashbang To your question, this is rebuttal, but they're like going, it seems like they're going into more than, they're bringing in some new stuff, it feels like. Because their witness that they had on right after the defense's expert, he is an expert, I'll say that, but whatever, was the rebuttal to him. So this stuff is all kind of new. Yeah, I agree. This is just practice. They don't need to do this. It's kind of crazy. Because I only know because Gabby and I were testing out the audio because the audio has been so iffy on this. We are going to see some stuff video wise, not of the crash, although in closing we may see more of the crash video. I'm not sure on that. Or we might see one more of her driving, but maybe not the actual crash. But we're going to see some of the defendant that was not talked about in the case in chief. Just saying. Yeah, the camera footage pretty much made sure they won this already.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Sir.
Thank you.
Detective, if you would state your name and spell your last name, please.
Yep, Detective Kenneth Dodds, Dodds.
Good morning, Detective Daz. Are you currently employed?
I am
Where are you employed?
with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office.
And what is your role there?
I am currently a detective with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office.
And what training or experience do you have to have prior to being delineated as a detective with the Monroe County Sheriff's Department?
So I attended the Oakland Police Academy and graduated there in 2017. Over the course of the past 7 years, I've attended multiple investigative schools, some being basic detective school and evidence technician school.
And so I think you just answered my question, but approximately how long have you been a detective?
A detective approximately 2 years.
And how long have you been employed by the Monroe County Sheriff's Department?
7 years.
And prior to that, did you have any experience in law enforcement?
No, I did not.
So the entirety of your experience is with the Monroe County Sheriff's Department.
Yes.
Was there something as a result of your employment, were you involved in an investigation of involving the Swan Boat Club in April of 2024?
I was, yes.
What was your involvement with that case?
A couple days after the incident happened, I helped execute a search warrant on the defendant's house.
Do you recall the exact date by any chance?
I believe it was 4/22 of 2024.
So that would be April 22nd?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Detective, as a result of that investigation, or rather, what, if anything, was the Detective Bureau hoping to find or anticipating that they might find as a result of the search warrant being executed?
So through the course of our investigation, we learned that the defendant purchased alcohol prior to the crash happening. So part of the search warrant was to locate any evidence related to that.
And Detective, do you happen to recall what she purchased, if you can recall at all?
I don't recall exactly.
Okay. As a result of the execution of the search warrant, did you find anything relevant to that inquiry?
We did. We located multiple small wine bottles in the kitchen.
See you, Bri. Have fun with the nail polish remover. Just remember, don't drink it. Have a good night.
Trash can. They were all empty. I believe they were Sutter Home brand. And we also located a couple Fireball brand empty bottles as well.
Detective, you indicated that you kind of used your
Isn't
fingers
Fireball?
to implicate. Do you recall, were they large bottles of wine? Were they small bottles of wine?
They were small bottles of wine.
Do you know how much is found within the small bottle of wine of Sutter Home that you just mentioned?
They were empty at the time we located them.
Okay, sorry, that was not a very clear question. When you say small bottles of wine, do you recall exactly how much that particular bottle holds?
I don't recall exactly how much.
Okay, Judge, can I see Exhibit 40, please? May I approach? Thank you. Detective, I'm going to show you what has been marked as People's Exhibit 40. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Detective, can you take a look at this bottle and I suppose familiarize yourself with it and then look up at me when you are done? Okay. Based off of your recollection from executing the warrant at the scene, is this similar to the bottles that you found?
Yes, this is very similar.
Okay. And can you just look on the bottle and articulate for the record how much?
See ya, Ada. Yes, get your schoolwork done. Have a good rest of your night. Flashman, lies, all lies. Get your schoolwork done too. Or I will time you out.
Is found within that bottle?
Looks like 187 milliliters.
Thank you. May I approach, Judge?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll take that back from you, Detective.
Thank you.
Detective, do you recall what type of wine was found, I suppose, and when I say type of wine, Chardonnay or any other type of wine was found in those bottles, or I suppose was at one point in those bottles?
I don't recall exactly what kind of wine it was. No.
Okay. Are you familiar with types of wine?
Vaguely.
Okay. Do you? That's okay. Do you withdraw your objection? Okay. Thank you very much. Yep. And Detective, you indicated there were several empty bottles of Fireball whiskey as well?
Yes.
Okay. Detective, did you find any full bottles of Sutter Home of the 187 milliliters that you just indicated?
No, we found no full bottles.
Did you find any full bottles of wine within the home during the execution of your search warrant that you can recall?
Not that I can recall, no.
Thank you, Detective. That's all I have for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Now, this tragic accident happened on April 20th of 24, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you executed a search warrant at the residence of my client and her husband on what day?
The 22nd.
So 2 days later, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And my client was not at her residence during those 2 days. Do you agree with that?
She was not there at the time of the search warrant.
And was she there a day before, or was she somewhere else?
I do not know that, sir.
You don't know if she was arrested and in jail?
Oh, I believe she was in jail at that time.
Okay, so that means she wasn't at her residence, right? She couldn't be at her residence and in jail at the same time.
Correct.
Okay. And do you know when those bottles, those 4 little bottles, when those were drank?
No, we do not know when they were drank.
And do you know who was residing at my client's residence when you showed up with a search warrant?
Her husband was there at the time.
Do you have any reason to believe that her husband was not residing there every day for a long time prior?
No.
All right. And do you know what he drank when he was at the house those 2 days?
No, I do not know what he drank.
I'm guessing he's the Fireball. That's only my
So
guess.
you're not
I don't know.
in front of this jury in court. You're not alleging that my client absolutely drank these 4 bottles that were purchased 2 days before, are you?
I can't say who drank those bottles, sir.
All right. I appreciate your honesty. Thank you. Now, the bottle that was found in the car, did you hear about that? And that was some exhibit that was just showing you. There's like a plastic bottle.
I'm
It was showing
aware.
you.
Yeah, I'm aware of
All right.
the exhibit.
Did you ever go look at the lot number on that and measure it with the lot number from the party store?
No, we did not.
I don't really know what he's referring to regarding the lot number and also.
Lot. L-O-T.
Yes, I still referring to in regarding to a lot number.
Oh.
And I don't believe that there's been any testimony from Detective Dodds regarding lot numbers.
All right, I'll withdraw that. That's fair.
Okay.
Now, because there was no cold bottles of these wines, does that mean when you executed the search warrant, does that mean that my client's husband could have never drank those for 2 days?
So I'm going to object to speculation. I don't really know, first of all, what the relevance of this is, but secondarily, I think he stated that most of the bottles that he found were empty, if not all bottles.
I totally agree as to the relevancy of this. I'll withdraw it.
Any redirect?
No, Judge,
Any
thank you.
witness be excused?
He may, Judge, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Next rebuttal witness.
Judge McCall, Detective Sergeant Jeffrey Hooper.
Way too much sugar in those, Puddletown. That would be a horrible hangover.
Swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
And if you would state your name and spell your last name, please, Detective.
Jeff Hooper, Hooper. Thank you, Judge. Sergeant, you testified previously that you executed a search warrant on defendant's home. Is that correct?
Yes,
And when was that done?
that would have been Monday, I believe it was the 22nd
And
of April.
Sorry, you testified that you found some cameras and a DVR recording system.
Yes,
Did you find any cameras inside the home?
yes,
And how many cameras were there?
one.
Where was it located?
In the kitchen area.
Puddletown.
area.
I mean, Flash fan. Sorry, Puddletown. I was reading. I was reading your stuff. No, I'm a little old for a Jello shot. Thank you. That's all.
Were there any were you able to locate any recordings from April 20th of 2024
Yes,
in the kitchen area camera?
yes,
And did you have a chance to review those videos?
yes.
And did you find the timestamp to be accurate on those or similar problem as the other ones?
Similar with the other one. Again, if it was an hour behind. So if it said 3 o'clock on the timestamp, it would be 2 o'clock.
Did you make a copy of these videos?
Yes,
And you viewed them, correct?
yes,
Okay. You reviewed what's purported with people's proposed exhibit 38A through 38F.
yes,
And are these all of the recordings from inside the home?
no,
Just pertinent to the case in chief?
correct.
Judge, I'm going to move to admit people's 38A through 38F.
Response. Are you going to play it?
I'll move to proffer next, Judge.
All right,
All
let's do
right,
that.
can we play 38A, please? 1 second, don't play it just yet. Detective, can you, for me, tell me what the date and time is on this?
So the original date and time is 4/20 of 2024 at 8:24 and 47 seconds in the morning.
And so that would actually be what time?
9:24 and 47 seconds
AM.
a.m.
Okay, please play the video.
I'm just going to warn you now. This video is going to piss you off. So I'm just going to tell you now. Just keep an eye on her as she shuffles back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I knew I wasn't muted. I knew I wasn't muted, but good try, Flash fan. Good try.
Please play 38B, or actually bring it up. Detective, what is the timestamp on that?
9:24 and 38 seconds AM.
What would be the accurate time then?
10:24 and 38 seconds AM.
Please play the exhibit.
If you can't see, she has the little tiny wine bottles in her hand at 10 o'clock, 10:25 in the morning.
Please pull up 38C. Detective, what's the timestamp and date on this one?
9:45 and 12 seconds AM.
Also from April 20th?
Yes.
So what is the accurate time then?
10:45 and 12 seconds AM on the 20th.
There's another bottle.
Please pull up 38D. Detective, what is the date and timestamp on this one?
April 20th, 2024, 11:35 and 1 second AM.
And what is the actual time, accurate time?
12:35 and 1 second, and that would be PM.
Please put the video.
Your Honor, for the record, it says 38D.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Please pull up 38. Detective, what is the date and timestamp on this one?
April 20th, 2024, 1:10 and 38 seconds PM.
It says 13:10, but that is, the translation is 1:10 PM.
I'm sorry, yes, that's military time.
Sure.
So one,
What is the accurate time?
that would be 14:10 and 38 seconds or 2:10 and 38 seconds PM.
Thank you.
Your Honor, for the record, it's 38E.
He is in here.
Thank you.
So now she's got red wine in her hand. And I'm assuming this is after she got back from lunch with her chili and fish.
Please pull up 38F. Detective, what is the date and timestamp on this?
April 20th, 2024, 13:31 and 50 seconds or 1:31 and 50 seconds PM.
And what is the more accurate time based on timestamp and accuracy?
It would be 14:31 and 50 seconds or 2:31 and 50 seconds PM.
Approximately 30 minutes before the crash.
Correct.
Please play the video.
Fill her back up. I just wonder why she paces so much. Where's she going?
Judge, people again move to admit exhibits 38A through 38F as in Frank.
Response.
Your Honor, we have no objection, just for the record, prior motion that was filed prior concerning this, but no objection.
People's 38A through F, they are admitted.
I have no further questions for this witness, Judge.
Cross?
What do you know if she drank all those bottles of wine herself? Is that your question?
Officer, did you, were you ever inside my client's home prior to the date you executed the warrant?
No,
And when you obtained this videotape, you obtained the contents of the videotape, correct? Or the video machine or recording machine?
yes,
Okay, with this search warrant, right?
yes,
Okay. Did my client participate in you going through, well, you had a chance to go through and look at hours of videotape, correct?
correct,
And he didn't stop you at all from taking the videotape. You asked for it, and he showed you where it was, and he gave it to you, correct? My client's husband.
correct.
Okay. And you didn't have him come to your office and go through the videotape from start to finish to confirm that that's the videotape, no editing, no nothing, that it's the full videotape. Did you ever have him come do that?
He did not come to my office, no.
But you never went through the entire videotape with him prior to you starting to edit and show certain fragments today, correct? He didn't participate in editing this, correct?
It's not edited. It's just the videos were taken off of the DVR.
Okay. If the DVR has 6 hours of recording and you take 2 or 3 spots, segments, that would be editing, right? Because it's like taking a police report and putting black certain parts.
I can't say one way or another. I don't believe
Is that
so.
the full videotape?
Is that the full
Full
contents
videotape
of,
of 4
Hang on
hours?
a second, ask him a question, and
Okay.
talk over.
You're right, Judge.
that is not the full contents of all the video for that day, no.
And who decided to participate in, for lack of a better word, editing or picking which versions and how they were obtained? Who did that? Did you do that? Did an IT person do it?
No, I looked through all the video footage.
And you picked those to bring to court today, right?
I notified the prosecutor's office of my findings.
Okay. And your job is to participate in people that are arrested and participate in coming to court and participate in getting convictions. Do you agree with that? You're not here.
The question is argumentative.
That's not argumentative. How's that
That's
argumentative?
argumentative.
Job is in getting convictions.
Well, what's he doing here today? Is he working for me and saying
I
she's
think what he's
innocent?
doing is telling the truth.
Okay.
That's his job, so in that regard, the objection is sustained.
Okay. Do you come to court to testify in criminal cases in your history of being a police officer to prove the innocence of the accused?
Same objection, Judge.
It applies.
All right, thank you. I'll withdraw, Judge.
No further questions.
Any more redirect?
Briefly, Judge. Detective, you said there are other videos than this, correct?
Yes,
do they present as one long 6-hour video or however long?
They do not.
How do they appear on the system?
So on the system, they are motion activated. So each time it triggers, it creates a new video. So for that complete day, on that DVR of all 4 cameras, I believe roughly approximately 460 video clips.
They're all short video
They're all,
clips?
absolutely all short, maybe a minute long.
You didn't edit down a longer video into short clips?
No.
This is how they came to you?
Yes.
Did you make any alterations to the videos?
No.
Nothing further, Judge.
Detective, you're not showing any videos from 6 in the morning, am I correct?
Correct.
And there were activated videos, motion activated from, let's say, 6 in the morning, do you think? Or is this the only time that she walked around?
No, there were other videos of her walking around.
No other questions?
All right, may this witness speak to you.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next witness.
Judge, we want no further witnesses, we rest our rebuttal.
All right. Here's
And we rest this trial for today. I know you guys are kind of freaked out about having. Well, hang on. I'll get back to that in just 1 second. Puddletown, if they have camera, why do we need this on camera? Why do we need this long of a trial? This trial was only actually 4 days. It's just taken us a long time because of Lori Vallow and then not wanting to do, 8 hours of trial in one night or 4 hours. And then you guys were talking about why have cameras inside the home. I would, in mine, I have cameras outside of my house. I would have them inside of my house just so I could keep an eye on my dogs. And then also, I guess, so I would have footage if anybody ever broke in. But other than that, I don't know. But the idea of it kind of freaks me out a little bit. So I don't have any inside my house. But I'm not like against it. I wouldn't have it everywhere. That would be weird. But yeah. So we saw her. Yes, I think that's. She did not want anybody stealing her booze. I mean, come on. I think that right there, no matter if anybody bought what the defense expert said, that's done. Because you can clearly see her walking around with those little tiny wine bottles in her hand. I'm assuming then she went to lunch and then she comes back from lunch, takes off her jacket, and pours herself, as Gabby called it, the nighttime wine. And all of that takes place before she drives her car again to wherever she was going at that point in time. She's never said where she was going. Nobody has ever said when she left again and when she ended up crashing into the boat club where she was headed to. Maybe she was out of wine. I don't know. I have no idea. She's never said that. Nobody's ever asked her, I guess. We didn't see it in any of the police body cam, but I have no idea. Puddletown just has just your bathroom and your bedroom. Well, I'm good. Don't need the URL. I wish I could have seen you try to describe this trial to Mr. Gabby yesterday. That would have been hilarious. Because, yeah, Gabby and I, when I was playing this for her, for the audio, she was watching me. She was laughing when I was like, who the heck eats chili and fish? Because she said she saw my reaction when they said it. And and her and I were both just like yelling at the computer when she's walking through the house, just going nowhere with her wine and then gets in the car and drives. Like, we were just like, oh my gosh, we were so mad because it was just so pointless. I don't know where she lives. Like, I probably could, but I'd pay an arm and a leg for it. Have stuff DoorDash to my house. I probably could. I don't know how far away she lives from anywhere. I don't know the layout of the area that she lives, but if you needed more wine, just call and have it delivered instead of what you did. Like, yep. Yeah. It's pretty bad. I don't They might play that one again in closing. I'm not sure. I don't think we see the crash inside again. About 8 seconds. Oh, goodness. 8 seconds is never going away. But yeah, I don't. He switched up his defense. Carmen is right. She should have flopped around on the floor like a fish out of water. She might have gotten the seizure thing across then. Doubt it. Because all this stuff just buries her. So tomorrow night we will watch closings and get the verdict. I'm sure will not be a surprise to anyone. And then if you're on the fence about how this goes, plug your ears. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. Her sentencing is on May 15th. So I think I will be at my dad's that day. So we'll have to, hopefully this channel will have the sentencing and we'll watch it that night. So, but yeah, nope, self-defense here. The proofs did not show anything but her BAC horizon. That's why, yeah, I know, shocking, right? I'm sorry to spoil it for you. No acquittal. I know that the defense expert wished for a different reason, but I have said all along, I wish that they would have just did a PBT on her at the time, and this department may not carry those on them, and the officers may not have those, just at the time of the accident, just to see where she was registering then compared to where she registered 3.5 hours later. I don't know where the defense attorney got 6 hours later, but I don't know where he gets a lot of stuff. And I really don't want to. The proofs did show it was a USA hood and not a scarf. Yeah, she was very patriotic that day. Kind of sad. Goodness. All right, so we will pick this up and finish it tomorrow. It should be around 5:30ish, 5:45 again. I'll put the thumbnail and all that good time stuff up. And then we can put a pin in this until May 15th and be done with this woman. I have no idea what kind of time she's looking at for this. But to me, if it's 20 years, it's life for her. But I have no idea what she's looking at. That part I don't know. She should get more than 20 years for unaliving 2 children, but I don't write the laws, and I'm not the judge. Yes, please hit all the fun YouTube buttons before you leave this evening. I appreciate you guys all hanging out, even though it says that y'all aren't here sometimes. It's funny. I will take a look at your new Indiana case, although we will not watch it because they won't show it. I'm not as drunk as you think I am, Ossifer. Have a good evening too, Ronnie. And Flashman is eating cheese. All right. That's on that note. That's that's a good note to end on. I will see you guys all. Well, I was going to end, but then Haley came in with the you ghosts will be watching and chatting, but only I'll see you. That's right. That is right. Okay, now that's it. I'm out. See you guys all hopefully tomorrow. Have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you later.